Welcome everyone to Sysco Canada's late night kitchen show. I'm stoked, and we're going to show you the guy that was actually doing that music. He's on the show tonight, Brian. But welcome beyond me. Welcome back to the show. There I am. Welcome back, everyone. Chef Tom, Nathan. I'm excited to have you guys back. You can maybe hear our Mexican music a little bit. Let's turn it up here. Right, the theme tonight. Maybe Chef Tom want to kind of share what we're going to be doing today with you and your amazing product. There you go, Chef.
Yeah, so today I'm really excited for what we're showing to you today. The thing I like about this is that the only thing better than breakfast for breakfast is breakfast for dinner. And so what we have today, officially the title is called the Beyond Breakfast Sausage Burrito with Moroccan spiced potatoes, scrambled eggs, beans, Harissa sour cream, and grilled Meyer Lemons. So it's kind of a traditional, or it's kind of a twist on a traditional breakfast burrito, and with a North African twist.
Nice. Nice. Well, let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so I'll start kind of introducing you the ingredients, and then just start cooking. So first we got some roasted potatoes. So what I did was I took these, and you can cook them any way you want. I actually microwave these. You wrap them in plastic wrap, poke them a little bit, microwave them for about 5 minutes, and then just let them chill in the fridge, peel them, and then you get like a large dice. So you kind of get like a large dice there. Or you can do like boil them traditionally. So put them in cold water, bring it up to a boil, and then let that simmer for 10 to 20 minutes. And until they're not quite mashed potatoes level of doneness, just a little bit before that, because you don't want them to kind of break apart. So you want them in kind of nice little chunks. And then we're going to deep fry these, or you can pan fry them if you don't have to deep fry. But we're going to deep fry these for about 3 to 4 minutes until they're nice and crispy and golden brown. And then we're going to toss them. We're going to toss them with this spice blend. So this is called the Ras El Hanout, and this is a Moroccan spice blend. So what we have in here is cumin, coriander, cloves, allspice, ginger, paprika, cayenne, black pepper, salt, and a little bit of onion and garlic powder. And this provides a really good kind of twist to the potatoes. It provides a really good kind of floral, herby, and spicy flavor. So we're going to toss the potatoes in that, and then we're just going to kind of build on the layers of the burrito. So we got scrambled eggs. We got our Beyond breakfast sausage, which I'll start frying up in a little bit. And then we're going to kind of top them off with some of those kind of classic Moroccan North African flavors. So the sauce that's going on this dish, it's called the Harissa sour cream. It's literally just sour cream mixed with Harissa. And Harissa is this. This is the brand I got. It's called Mina. But you can get your own Harissa. It's basically like a red chili pepper paste with olive oil and some spices. You can get your own. This one is it's a little mild. It says spicy, but it's a little mild. And so we're going to mix those two together and kind of provide like a creamy, it's both a cool, creamy, and a spicy sauce. So this is the sauce we got going on. So it's kind of like it's cool, provides a really good flavor to finish the dish. And then to finish it all off, we have in season right now in California, we got these. They're called Meyer Lemons. They're kind of like a regular lemon, but a little less acidic and a little sweeter. So it's kind of like a cross a little bit between a lemon and an orange. So what I did was I took these and I grilled them. So just put a little bit of olive oil on, grill them, and what this does is it gives it a little bit of a caramelized flavor, and it kind of reduces the acidity a little bit, kind of mellows it out. And so we just kind of squeeze this all over the breakfast burrito, and it's going to kind of give it a really good brightness and a really good kick. And again, it's the kind of North African theme that those spices and those spices and herbs and the lemon really gives it a great flavor. So do you guys want me to get started cooking? I can start.
Yes, let's get in there, Chef.
All right, so I'm going to take these potatoes. I'm going to cook them for about 3 to 4 minutes, about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So until they're nice and kind of golden crispy. We're going to toss them in the spices, and then we're going to put them in the oven while we do all our other things like the eggs and the beans and everything.
Awesome. So Nathan and Brian, do you guys see a lot of people using Beyond Meat products in applications you just didn't think they would ever use?
Yes.
I believe last podcast we spoke towards the pate, correct?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, it doesn't get any worse than eating raw beyond ground beef with egg and breadcrumb in there. But no, I think when Chef Tom is mentioning using a Moroccan spice blend and Harissa sour cream, one of the nice things is that all we are is an ingredient supplier. Food is so cultural that we've seen pretty much every single culture out there take our stuff and use it as sort of a conduit to this nostalgic effect that food has on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps connect people across cultures and fill in that delta that is sort of dietary restrictions or just wants and needs. So whether you talk about Middle Eastern or Italian or south of the border, I mean, this recipe is a perfect example of that, in that we're blending, a Mexican breakfast burrito with a Middle Eastern spice blend with something that we all get behind, late night / breakfast comfort food. So that's, I don't know how, that's the center of 5 bullseyes right there.
Yeah, and if you're partying on a late night and the next day, this would be amazing. That's I think everybody craves something a little bit greasy, a little bit kind of breakfast food the morning after.
Chef Tom, I'm going to your kitchen late night when I'm still feeling it. You know what I mean?
So, you know what I'd like to talk a little bit while Tom is cooking some food is, I know that like when we had Ethan on the show, geez, about a month or so ago now, we talked a little bit about the process of getting the proteins out of plants. Can we talk a little about the scientific area here, the process of it? Because I find it fascinating that it's not what people think it is, right? The perception out there, it's pretty easy, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
And very clean. Yeah. I shared that on a presentation last week. I was telling you guys earlier with the Humane Society, saying it's not really that, like, it's not bad at all. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about
very
that?
much so? Sure. Yeah. Very much. Yep. Very much so. And Beyond Meat is very much about creating food that you feel good about feeding your family and your children, and within those principles of the product that we make, it's very clean, it's natural, there's nothing artificial, and through the process that we utilize to make a Beyond Meat product, it really is, in the simplest explanation, heating, cooling, and pressure, resetting the fiber structure of the plants to more closely replicate the fiber structure of the animal protein. As we know, traditional animal protein is a known amino acids, vitamin, lipids, water, carbohydrates. We know what makes that. We can put it under an MRI and understand what it is. It's a knowable. So basically, we're replicating traditional animal protein, just taking meat directly from the plant, removing the inefficient bioreactor, which is the animal in essence, and doing that through a very clean process, as I say, of heating, cooling, and pressure. So that's why, this is feel-good food. This is, it checks a lot of boxes for what a consumer is looking for today, and feeding your family. And most importantly, it doesn't have those negative attributes that, then the connotations that come with plant-based in general. And one thing I would say for sure is, not all plant-based options are created equal. And when you take that deeper dive on each one, you'll see those attributes and how they differentiate from each other. And we've always stuck to, our course of, human health as one of our primary pillars. And that's something that, when we take a deep dive on the ingredients, on the production process, on what's not in the product, the free of gluten, the free of GMOs, the free of soy, all those attributes, it's something that resonates with a lot of consumers as a differential.
Yeah, and I find that very interesting. How long do you guys, because you don't hear it as much. I know when you first came out, there was a little bit of, it's not real and stuff like that. And that has really disappeared in a way. From what I hear, maybe you guys hear that different, but I'm pretty in tune with what's going on. People are not talking about that. So that's that. Obviously, that's probably a phase, right? Everyone's always a little scared of something new that comes out, disrupts the industry. That must be a phase that
Well,
but it's obviously you're going to come out with that conversation. Someone's going to question it, right?
I think a lot of it has to do with kind of that education
well, and that's
curve. I don't know if Chef Tom wants to speak to some of these.
Yeah, Tom, get in there.
That got in there.
Yeah, so I got the potatoes here. I mean, you should smell what it smells like in here. It's amazing. So you see how fast these cook because we've already pre-cooked the potatoes and chilled them. And so all you do is you cut them into cubes. We fry them for about 3.5 minutes, and then I toss them with these spices, and it gets all nice and golden brown and crispy, but they're still kind of fluffy on the inside. So they're like a kind of a souped up home fries. If you've ever had home fries, they're amazing. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of keep these warm in the oven while I start cooking the other ingredients. I got our Beyond Breakfast sausage here. I'm going to start cooking that up right away. And then I'm just going to really cook the eggs very fast and then just assemble everything. So it's kind of an easy on the prep side and a little bit more activity on the assembly side. But I think it's a really simple dish. So I'm going to put these in the oven right now and start cooking the next steps.
Hey, Tom, when you start cooking the Beyond sausage here, can you take one and just tear it apart just to show the texture and stuff for the viewers?
You want to see it raw or you want to see it cooked, right?
Yeah, when you get it cooked, just rip one open. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, so with these sausages, you're going to cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes per side on medium-high heat. Just a little bit of oil in the pan. These things don't need a whole lot of oil, which is good. So I'm just going to cook them for about 2.5 to 3 minutes per side, and they brown very fast.
Awesome. So let's get back to that conversation there with Brian and Nathan on the whole thing. Will you be challenged as you develop more and more products around the discussion? Is this healthy? Or is that something that you're past now, do you find, where people are more interested because they know your products are good for you and they're good and they're developed in a really amazing way that's good for the environment? Do you see that ever coming back, or is it just that's past now?
I think
we're moving on. What?
Oh. I think that, ultimately, it's going to be a twofold equation, Jay. So one really good thing we've got going for us is that we are transparent with our ingredients, with our process. And regardless of meat alternative or actual meat, customers are demanding transparency. So we're a little bit ahead of history on that one. And I also think that there's just a certain level of consumer who really has never cared what's in what they eat. I mean, they know that hot dogs and scrapple are things that they don't want to know about. But at the beginning, they were the ones also saying, well, heck, why would I want to eat that fake stuff? Yeah. Simply because it was a fringe thing. Now that it's not fringe anymore, well, they never cared what was in it. They still don't care what's in it. They just care that a lot of other people are eating it. So it must be okay. It must not be grass clippings. It must be tasty. So I think we kind of win on both of those aspects. But I was talking over my guy, Nathan. I'm curious what he's got to say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, it really speaks to, education and the awareness of the product in general. So, years ago, used to be very few news sources and stories had to be vetted and the information had to be accurate. Nowadays, anyone can post a social media or a story, and a lot of people take it as accurate news. And through the education and the trainings and awareness of Beyond Meat and the things that we stand for and the things that go into our product, we've dispelled a lot of those myths and rumors through those trainings, through education, through driving trial. And consumers are more aware of what they're putting in their bodies now than they've ever been. And the story and the understanding of what goes into Beyond Meat just, it speaks for itself when we talk about the health benefits, when we talk about lower in saturated fat, cholesterol free, lower in sodium, You could go on and on, but it's proven health benefits, and even dispelling the myths regarding sodium. And you've got the Stanford medical swap meat study regarding utilizing plant-based proteins comparative to traditional animal proteins, and doing a study between and proving unequivocally that there is no increased sodium intake by having a plant-based diet. That's another rumor or myth that's been dispelled. So, it's one thing at a time. As people get more and more comfortable with plant-based proteins. I can tell you that, after years of doing, food shows and sampling thousands of customers,
Yeah.
I've never had one single customer that's tried the product and not had the saucer eyes and go, "Oh my goodness, this tastes exactly like traditional animal protein beef." And they're a converted customer and they rave about it. And then they pull people over to the booth and they talk more about it. And it's a great conversation, and it segues into, human health, animal welfare, climate change, and constraints on natural resources, and the 4 pillars that Beyond Meat rests upon, and the things that we stand for. So, there's multiple conversations to be had. But to bring it back to your point, Jay, that awareness and that education, and to Brian's point, is becoming more and more prevalent about what consumers are putting into their body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also want to add that I think a lot of times people think the word science and food, they don't really mix. But the truth of the matter is that anything you get on store shelves, there's a scientific process behind it. And so people see that, there's the fact that we use a lot of high-tech science to create our product. That kind of scares people away, intimidates people. But people have to understand that every single thing you buy in a store that you eat has a food scientist behind it. It doesn't matter if it's apples or pasta or Beyond Meat products. And so people just have to be aware of that. And I think people are kind of coming around to that. And education is a huge factor in that. And I'm glad that we're taking steps to educate the public on our products and just making products in general.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree. And that's a really good point, Chef, because there are some products out there that we consume, even beverages that we consume, that has been, a science in a lab, and not even remotely as bad, not even remotely as close, let me rephrase that, as what you guys do, right? It's such a clean process you guys do with your products.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And science too isn't just to make things cheap. It's to make things reliable, safe, and consistent. And so that's something that we obviously, any food manufacturer has to have things that are safe, reliable, and consistent in order to keep their customers.
Yep,
and so it's not just something to save $1. It's not just something to cut corners. It's something to make sure we have a wholesome product. And so we do pride ourselves in having some of the best food scientists in the industry. And we do take the food science very seriously. And so, and we're not ashamed of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Do you guys advertise a lot of that, or you guys get into the marketing of that? Because you guys you're on that stage with the cool tech companies, is what I see all the time. You guys are getting into that elevated space.
Yeah,
being trendy and cool.
Yeah, I think we're definitely trying to put a big push behind making our products as digestible between the ears as they are in your belly. You know what I mean? So trying to demystify where, how this burger patty that does look like your traditional animal beef burger, and that's between your bun, how that is indeed plants, and trying to connect those dots. And it's honestly, it's a very nuanced conversation. And if you look at our sort of latest what we're calling the Go Beyond campaign, it does speak to that process. And if you look at our social media channels, we are putting a big push behind that, because I agree with you, Jay. Like, I'm not a food scientist. I love getting happy hour with our food scientists because they teach me so much. But the average consumer that's just, popping along the meat section, that's way above their pay grade, right?
Yeah.
So it's our job to do a better and better job of to be storytellers and do the most transparent job of being educational, informative, while also staying true to the script and captivating people in a quick bite. It's not easy.
So can we talk, and is it okay if I share your Go Beyond?
Please.
Right now on our show, because let's talk a little bit about this, because I think this is awesome. But first, there's a couple questions. I have so many questions here. Just got to make sure I don't forget about Chef Tom. But
you want me to show the inside? So I just cooked this for about 5.5 minutes total. So about 2.5 to 3 minutes per side. And you always want to make sure to cook our product to 165 degrees internal temperature, because we do appear next to animal-based meat on the store shelves, and so that's something that the FDA and we've set that temperature. So you can kind of see it right here. I'll show you. This is the benefits of a 4K webcam. So we got our kind of breakfast sausage there, and you can get a nice kind of interior shot here. And if you kind of give it a little squeeze, you can see it just cooks. It's just as juicy as real animal-based sausage, real pork. And this is going to go into the breakfast burrito. So I'm going to keep this hot. And we're going to just keep building the layers of this breakfast burrito. I got the beans heating up, and I'm going to cook the scrambled eggs real quick, and then I'm going to go right into assembly.
Awesome. Oh, boy. I want to share the screen. Sorry. I just about forgot what I was going to do there, Brian. So let's go into sharing the Beyond Meat screen here. So can you see that?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's talk about this. Can we share, what is this? What am I seeing here?
So I think this speaks towards what we've always kind of preached, which is you can get the good without any of the bad. And that being, you can have all this nostalgia that we talked about, using food as a way of connecting across cultures and not having to worry about dietary restrictions. So the Go Beyond campaign is, you can have that classic, Sunday barbecue nostalgia without any of the sort of ethical implications, dietary. Your old lady's telling you quit eating so much red meat. You don't need to think about the planet. You've got this thing that's sitting between a bun, whether it's our hot dog, or our sausage links, whether it's our burgers, whether it's a classic pasta dish, but we didn't sacrifice anything. We didn't sacrifice your health. We didn't sacrifice environmental resources, and it just comes out tasting good, and you feel that much better.
That's really cool.
Yep, absolutely.
Really, really cool. Look at these wicked recipes you guys got. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have links to recipes that we can share that are seasonal in nature, and I mean, a variety of recipes from the chefs that we work with as well that are available to consumers to share or to work with in their ideations and their menu applications as well.
Yeah, and I think the other big aspect that Go Beyond speaks towards is, kind of seeing your potential from a different angle. And especially when, we were joking about this before the stream went live, all the athletes that have been through that Chef Tom's R&D kitchen. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest reasons why they gravitate towards plant-based is strictly performance. We're not talking anything ethical. We're not talking, they're burning 3,000 calories a day easy. They can eat whatever the heck they want, but they're treating food as fuel, and they're looking towards plants as being the most efficient form of that fuel. And that's another sort of big angle that we're championing with Going Beyond is, hey, you might not even be tapping into your sort of your highest octane self, right?
For sure. For peak performance, less inflammation. I believe it was Victor Oladipo that said he actually felt feathery on the court, converting to a plant-based diet. I mean, it's, there's so many positive attributes, and these athletes. We talk about game changers as well. I mean, there's a whole movie documentary of testimonials on plant-based and how it positively affects human health from a performance standpoint. So, if it's great for a professional athlete, for the average consumer, just think about what it can do overall. And that's why one of our core guiding principles is positively contributing to human health.
Yeah, you know what? And so I have a question on that too. So when we look at plants, like I'm thinking a big field, and I could be completely wrong with what kind of plants we're looking at. But has the environment altered the plants today? Or like, is there any concerns in that, the environment altering the plants because of the, what they're breathing and what they're taking in? Does that alternate possibly the flavor profiles or things that you guys got to be worried about a little bit as you're using a very vulnerable product in the environment? Just like, I guess I just want to know that, like, because it's interesting.
That's a really cool consideration. I always joke that, like, not all just like not all grains are created equal, not all dairy is created equal. You can have some pretty cool heirloom varietal breads from heirloom varietal grains that will sit well with tons of people. And then all of a sudden they have a slice of Wonder Bread, and then they're like, "Oh, I must be celiac,"
Yeah.
No, garbage is garbage. And you can even bite into a tomato and it doesn't taste like anything. And that's because it's, from a seed that was bred just for economies of scale. And to your point, Jay, I think one of the cool things about our ingredient list is the products the inputs we're sourcing are ones that are going to be inherently impervious to, sort of those cutting corners. We didn't take the easy route and use soy, even though that's the most commonly available protein isolate. We're not using, corn oil or anything like that, or just any of the big corn inputs as a starch, because that is a commoditized product where you are going to notice differences, whether it's taste or functionality or your own just well-being. One of the cool things about using peas as a primary input is that, unlike corn and soy that are carbon depleting, nitrogen depleting, it's actually it's an environmentally positive product. It's enriching, so you're not
re-enriching the soil
via monocropping. So I think you make a good point there, and that we're always trying to make sure that whatever we're putting, because we are consistently trying to diversify our protein sources, and make it more robust and more biodiverse when you're eating it, just because that's what your body craves for, is diversity, and making sure that whatever we decide to put into it is going to be just as good for us as it is for the planet, as it is on your palate.
Yep, absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I think it's fascinating when you look at it, because you hear about that with the wine. Like, we had a different, especially with you guys, right? The different environment impacts on the wine, on the grapes and stuff. It's going to change the profiles. I was just wondering the same.
The tannins and different things. Yeah, you're right.
I was wondering if that's going to affect these products that are using on plant-based. So cool.
Yep, and that's something, to Brian's point, with the pea plants, mung beans, brown rice, potato starch, the simple natural ingredients that we utilize. The pea plants re-enrich the soil. We work with farmers on those opportunities, faster growing seasons, good for the farmer, good for the planet, good for human health. It checks a lot of boxes and makes a lot of sense from a clean, natural ingredient stack perspective.
Do you have some of those stats? Ethan was sharing some stats on the environmental impact that you guys do compared to the beef industry.
I believe it was actually on one of those of the Go Beyond, but I can pull that up here right off the bat.
Yeah, because I screwed up telling people I know a few times, and because they're so impressive, I was like, oh no, and it's this, and they're like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Got 'em
it's
there, Brian?
go ahead, Brian.
Let's see, we got 99% less water, 93% less land, 90% fewer greenhouse gas emissions, and 46% less energy. So, I mean, pick what's the opposite of pick your poison? Pick
Mhm.
pick
Now I'm
your
assuming,
feel good.
because we can't always be 100, right? We know that.
Mhm.
But some of those numbers will improve as well as the technology improves, and
Absolutely.
you
Yep.
guys get
Yep.
more into this, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Economies of scale are going to help us out greatly there, and allowing us to continuously reinvest in those aspects will only strengthen our case. It'll make our logistics simpler. It'll lower the price point. I mean, the cavalry is coming on infinitely many areas. Once we just get more resources to keep investing. I mean, I think about when I was having to go merchandise the first product, which was a chicken strip, and it was a vastly inferior product from a functionality point of view. But as far as our logistics and our supply chain, there were just so many more bottlenecks. And when you're able to grow, all aspects of the business improve, from the just sort of the simplicity of you getting product to your customers, the number of outlets that and the number of locations. I mean, heck, for the first 4 years or so, I'm hearing people up in Canada clamoring like, how the heck do we get this stuff?
Mhm.
And now you can get it on pretty much any corner of the globe. So if that's any indicator, as we scale up, not only is the availability going to increase, but the quality is going to increase, and just everything kind of goes into it.
Yeah. I just think of what this will now. How long has Beyond Meat been around? When did it start producing food?
Our first products were out in food service, not in retail, but in food service, and that would have been middle of 2012.
Holy, so not that long ago when you think about it, right? 8 years ago.
Not even close. We're
Wow.
we're in the middle of a hockey stick level trajectory right now, and it's weird. I pinch myself on all the time.
Yep, and it's gaining traction and gaining momentum as we go on. More and more customers become aware of plant-based. Consumer perception is tying, animal protein consumption with, a lot of ills today that are associated with, coronavirus, swine flu, avian flu. Some of the ills associated with, animal protein consumption, and that's only sped up the adoption of plant-based protein consumption into people's overall diet at an increasing rate.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be it's impressive, because you think, 8 years ago, you think about what another 8 years will look like, right?
Mhm.
Or the 10 years. I can only imagine what this will look like. And
for sure. And you bring up a very good point. You bring up a very good point. We actually have within, our office in El Segundo, we've got the Manhattan Beach Project, that we like to call it, and we've got over 100 food scientists, chefs, biochemists, nutritionists, all working with a single-minded approach, and that's to make make the plant-based protein options that we develop and produce more closely replicant of a traditional animal protein, and that's their single-minded goal to do that. And to Brian's point, within that scalability, and as time goes on, and as soon as this gains momentum and traction and speeds up, our goal is to eventually, in the coming years, lower the cost to make it more comparable to traditional animal proteins.
I knew it.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, that's our goal. We're heading
volume,
in that direction.
Right? Yeah, we know volume dictates price, right?
All right, so we got our rapid breakfast burritos. So we got our Beyond Meat butcher paper there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a cross section. Is just you can kind of see the inside of it. So what I did was I put a bed of the spiced potatoes, then put some black beans over it, and then the scrambled eggs followed up with the Beyond sausage, a little bit of parsley, and then the grilled lemon, and then finally the Harissa sour cream. So I'm going to show you kind of a cross section of this, and obviously this is very easy to go. So let me kind of give you the interior shot here. Get a nice this is kind of nice layering. So we got our potatoes, we got our Beyond sausage, you got the parsley there, and so this is a great addition to any menu. It's got a little bit of heat to it, a little bit of kick, so you can add as much harissa or as little harissa as you want. But if you want to make this a completely vegan breakfast burrito, it's pretty simple. Just substitute some just egg for the scrambled eggs and a little bit of vegan mayo for the sour cream. And so bon appetit. So this is the Beyond breakfast sausage burrito with spiced crispy potatoes, scrambled eggs, black beans, and grilled lemon and harissa sour cream.
Love it.
Looks great, Tom. Looks great.
So this, I just want to say this because I'm hopefully I say the right thing here, but is that is going to be healthier than if I had one with beef or pork or whatever? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Right. So why
Yes.
wouldn't you eat that? Like that's why I have a hard time. If it's healthier for you, and we're all watching what we're eating, I don't think anyone isn't. Everyone's watching it. Why wouldn't you eat that? That's a part that I have a hard time going when it has if you are, you know, a flexitarian or a vegan or you're getting, that's where I just have a hard time. Like, I think Brian, you touched on it last time. It doesn't mean stop eating meat. Maybe just one day a week, you're now eating plant-based products, or 2 days a week. It has such an impact on the environment, your health, everything.
Yeah.
It's
as much mindset too.
As much as it's a no-brainer, you know, to folks like you and I that are in the food space, tasting is believing, and there's still a very, very big portion out there that has yet to taste it. So why would they believe it? And I don't blame them. That's my job. I need to get it out there for more people to believe it. Yeah. So we still got our work cut out for us as far as I'm concerned. And luckily, by the time that person tastes it, we're already iterating. We've already iterated far beyond what we've got on Chef Tom's plate right now. And what we've got in the hopper is even going to, you know, supplant that. So, but to your point, like, come on, man. Just take a bite. What's wrong with
it? Just try it.
Just like we were talking about last time, you know, it takes a little bit of creativity to make these plant-based proteins, and it takes obviously a lot of science and skill. And just like these ingredients here, if you cook them the right way, if you have somebody in your kitchen, in any food service kitchen, any chef that knows what they're doing, that knows how to mix flavors and ingredients, they can make this, and people will love it just as much as animal-based protein. But it just takes a little bit of skill, a little bit of creativity, and obviously the new ingredients, the plant-based sausage and everything. So there's just a little bit more work up front. But I think when people try it, as long as it's been made with skill and made with love and creativity, I think that people will gravitate towards it. And I know that that's kind of sometimes for some people that you're going to have to prove you have to prove yourself a little bit more than some other people. But I believe that anybody really would love this if they tried it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I gotta say this also is I don't believe people know necessarily like like I find food like wine. You know, people always say it doesn't matter. You have an expensive bottle or a cheap bottle. It's really your preference. And your flavor
absolutely, and that's the key. Trying the product.
Yeah, and I think that's important because I think people have altered food so much in today's world with salt and different ingredients to extend it, that people sometimes really don't know what meat tastes like. And nowadays, right? We buy some marinated product that's been sitting in sodium all day or for months or whatever when it's packaged. I don't know what I just don't think people really believe what food tastes like. And it's not their fault, and it's not ever the manufacturer's fault, it's just the way it is. But I think that's a point to your point, Brian. Just taste it, to try it. And when you put all those ingredients together, your mind and your flavor profiles, I don't think will connect in the sense of, ooh, it doesn't taste right. I really don't believe that. Unless it's a strong flavor profile that's different, that will hit you in the head. I've had some of those, but I don't think, I know your products, I've tried millions of times. It doesn't do that. I just don't think people know what real food tastes like now, and it's not their fault. It's no one's fault. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I also believe that people are kind of coming around to getting themselves educated about the meat industry in general. I know a lot recently in the news. There's been some kind of headlines about Europeans not accepting American, American chicken or American pork because of either it could be a cleanliness issue or a safety issue. And I think people are starting to come around to those topics as well. And so obviously our product kind of fits right into that, wherever that gap is, that's where our product fits in too. And so it's an education thing too. People are starting to get more educated on current topics of health and wellness and where their food comes from.
The one thing I agree, Tom, the one thing I just want to shout out is that I think good food though still exists. And that's especially in your area. In plant-based food, I have seen some very lousy plant-based, and I just think they were cheaping out. And I think with your products, where you're standing by what you have, it's a great product, and I think that's important. And at Sysco, we believe in that too. Is great food really makes a difference, and we're big believers in that.
And one thing that I'm super proud of representing this brand is I apologize if I'm recycling this. From the last one, but being that plant-based pusher, getting somebody to open their eyes to the fact that plant-based can just be delicious. Yeah. So if they start with a plant-based burger, maybe then the next time they see something interesting on a menu that's out of their sort of normal scope, that's not a comfort food, that's not Chef Tom's crazy replicate of a nostalgic breakfast burrito, but that is, a very hearty plant-based bowl that utilizes seasonal ingredients and really lets, just as, Chef Tom's got a grilled Meyer lemon on there, whether it's a parsnip or some, delicata squash, whatever seasonal, getting people to think about their food is so key. And however the method to doing that, I am all for it. I mean, you said it a second ago, Jay. People don't really they're not conditioned to really recognize what they're tasting. No. And however we can combat that is a blessing.
Awesome stuff, Chef. Anyway,
I wish you could have this. I mean, maybe I'll move the webcam here and kind of set this up so everybody can kind of see it. There we go.
Oh, looks amazing. Yeah. Looks amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. You know what? Always a blast. I can't wait till I can visit, because I'm going to visit that kitchen one day soon.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I can't wait to come down. It's going to be
you got an open table, outstanding reservation there, Jay. No problemo.
Yeah, I will be there. We'll spend all day, and it'll be healthy, so it's good. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. Give you a tour and give you a great meal.
Exactly. Well, thanks again, guys. Always a pleasure. Chef Tom, Rockstar. Thank you again. And guys, you know what? I just can't thank you enough for the great ideas, great conversation we had tonight. And everyone else, go out there, buy some Beyond Meat products and try it. Like Brian said, just do it. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Any last words, gentlemen, before I shut her down?
Think about what you eat, as you said. I love that one, Jay.
Yeah.
Just try and figure out what in the world you're tasting.
Yeah.
Beyond or not.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
Conscious consumption and enjoy the taste of the Beyond Meat products and recognize that, it's the way of the future, and it's a great viable option for your health and the planet.
You feel good. You feel good eating it.
Absolutely. And it tastes great.
After a big piece. I don't feel that great when I cheat a little.
Yeah.
But
most importantly, it tastes great.
Yeah, you'll be full. You'll be full, but you'll feel good about it. I mean, this is a big burrito, so you'll feel good about it.
Making you cheat
Yeah.
food. How's that,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah, just because
absolutely.
it's good for you doesn't mean it has to be it has to be very
No.
light. So like, you can definitely get a good late night food snack binge with plant-based meat.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
grab some drinks, grab a burrito. You're good to go. Awesome.
Beat up
Well,
Wayne.
thanks again, guys.
Yep.
Always a blast. Everyone else, we're going to be back next week with more shows. We got tons of shows coming up here on our SVK channel, and we got tons and tons of topics we're going to address and bring you as much of this information as we can. And for the new customers that joined us tonight, this is what makes us different at Sysco. This makes us a cool place to buy your groceries from for your restaurant. Also for your home, if you want to try out our Sysco at Home channel, that's great as well. So awesome stuff. Thanks again, everyone else. And go eat out, grab some Beyond Burger, cook it at home, eat it in a restaurant.
Hell yeah.
Just get out there and support our industry. We love you all. So thanks so much, guys.
Amen. Amen.
All right,
Thanks,
take
Jay. Thanks
care.
for having us.
Okay.
See you later.